Alright, so quick little update. We're having to shift directions a little bit. This is Monday. We got back from Florida on Friday, running around, and these are the winches that we picked up. We got a Variant 20, Barlow 22, got a pair of Maxwell 22 2-speeds, which are going to be very nice, and then this Tilo self-tailing model 220. We got a pretty tremendous deal on these, so went ahead and grabbed them. These, of course, are the ones off of the boat. I only had 3 self-tailers. These are Barlow 32s, which are massive. These are running the Genoa sheets, but I'm gonna try to redirect everything back to the cockpit that I can. Try to set up like a continuous line reefing system for the main, and yeah, anyway, so just trying to piece things together out of used stuff. So again, we're kind of shifting directions a little bit, simply because you can probably hear in the background the pitter patter of rain is the outbands of Debbie working their way up this way. It's sure to be a wet and wild event, because you know they're calling for 20 to 25 inches of rain over the next probably 72 hours, so that'll be fun. You would think that we drained better than we do, being that we're all sandy soil, but alas, no. Water comes in fast and it just sort of lays here for a while until it finds a place to go. But so yeah, so I'm gonna probably be pulling these winches apart and figuring them out. You can see that the dinghy is in the shop now. Got a bunch of stuff to do on it. I got to take this number panel off, which, as you can see, is the sun is doing a number on. I got to pull the rub strake off. It's got a couple of rub through spots here and one back here. Not too worried about that. It's where it was on a sailboat before and was kind of rubbing up against the stanchions, but you can see that it's releasing. So, oh boy, it got awful floppy in here because of the cold air, but anyway, it's missing the oar locks are peeled away. Got a little bit of damage on the handles that need to be taken care of. I just ordered some this is Hyphalon, well, what we call Hyphalon, but Hyphalon apparently is not being made anymore. It's made out of, I think, France. It's a fabric called Orca CSM. So I just ordered some of the Orca fabric, because I've got places like this where I've got rub through and all that it's just rubbed through the top layer. It's not leaking or anything. These again are just, these are the webs that hold the transom on. So I just want to take care of stuff like that, and if there's some gel coat damage, you know, stuff like that. The other thing too is I need to put a bow seat in, if possible, and would really like to have some kind of a seat back here as well. I mean, this is a big boat. It's a AB, it's a Ventus 10 foot, so it's 10.6 feet long. It's like 5.7 feet at the beam, with, I don't know, I think it's 2 to 3 feet of interior beam. If I could find a tape measure, I could tell you. But it's a big boat. I mean, I can lay down inside of it end to end and have plenty of room to move. So, but anyway, got to get it cleaned out and get this stuff cleaned up. But so yeah, just trying to, you know, oh, and I got wheels. Got wheels to put on the stern. These big old goofy bastards. But so yeah, just trying to get some stuff done in the shop, since, you know, I'm kind of getting rained out from working on the boat. I mean, I could be working on the boat, but you know, the wind's going to get kind of high, and I don't feel like, you know, sitting inside of a cement mixer trying to do finished carpentry. So yeah, so I'm just trying to make do with, you know, with the time and materials we've got on hand. So anyway, that's kind of what's going to be going on. Gina's going to be pissed. She spent so much time cleaning this boat and kind of getting it spruced up, and it's been sitting out in the driveway under a cover, and it's gotten all kind of mildewed and stained, and you know, she keeps going out there every couple of days because it's, you know, monsoon season here, so going out every couple of days and dumping the water out of the cover into the bottom of the boat, and then tipping the boat up to you know, get the water out. We'll keep the covers on it primarily just to keep the sun off the fabric, and we're going to build chaps for this anyway and put those on to protect the fabric. But anyway, so it's, you know, we are in the land of oak trees, so we've got oak trees everywhere, and they're just doing a number on the inside of the boat between the acorns and the tannic acid and all that stuff. You know, freaking acorns down in the gaps. And anyway, I'm gonna vacuum this crap out and try to get it cleaned up. That's kind of what's going on. And I've been looking around on YouTube to see if anybody's been building boxes for these things or seating, and there's really just not a hell of a lot of anything there. So I may try to film the process of that in case anybody's interested in seeing how I do it. But anyway, that's kind of what's what. I guess there's not really much more to add right now. I'll just kind of set up and film as we go along, and we'll see what happens. Actually, I'm going to lift up this ass end. Alright, so we're going to try this again. I just had to take the dinghy off the cradle and recut and block the cradle base because, well, first off, it kept tipping. As you saw, that comical tipping was because the cradle was backwards when we brought it in. Somehow it got turned around, but when I put it back on, it was not fitting right. Now, I didn't really check it before because I actually got the pattern for that off of the AB website, and it was on the 10VL, which is the model of that boat. It was on the 10VL nomenclature page. Anyway, I'm based on what I'm seeing, it looks like it's for a bigger boat, so it's probably actually for the 12VL, and it was just put on there by mistake. So I've just had to make some quick adjustments to it so the damn thing will quit tipping, and more importantly, so that I can keep it level so that I can kind of get this seat level and square to the actual boat. So anyway, back to the show. I've just completed piecing together and apparently sculpting the single most complicated box known to man. So this is the bow seat portion, and as you can see, it presented a number of challenges, you know, just making me remember 30 years of carpentry and fabrication and all that stuff. So it's looking a little rough right now, but you know, it's in the middle of the process, so that's not anything unusual. It's, sorry about the terrible camera work, I'm just not that great at it. But anyway, so just done a rough fill in screw holes, nail or staple holes, and a couple little voids in the edge of the plywood. And once that's dried up, then I'll fillet the inside, I'll lay glass all over it, sand it out, and prep it to paint. I'll just do a quick, probably a total boat. I'll probably actually use bilge paint on it, because honestly I want it to be as durable as I can make it. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and make a bench seat, as we talked about before. Obviously the bow seat fits basically in where that outline is at, and then bench seat I'm going to put somewhere back in here, in this area, probably something to make it a little bit easier for me when I'm running the motor, and also to kind of create a captured space behind the bench to put a fuel tank and, you know, gas can or whatever the hell else I feel like I need to put in there at the time. But I'm just trying to create a couple of seating areas and a little bit of segregation inside the boat. The boat's pretty big, but you know, there's 3 of us, so I want to make sure that we all have a place to sit and be comfortable when we're cruising around in our little car here, as we affectionately refer to as Hermes. You can feel free to look up the mythological reason for that name, but anyway. Good morning. Once again, back in the shop. Seems like I haven't been on the boat for 6 months. Of course I have. I actually just came from the boat, but that's beside the point. Picking up measurements for a hatch enclosure box that I need to replace. The gas locker, the bottom half of that is, or the bottom segment of that is just roached. It's not even serviceable. It's so screwed up. And just realized, I think the deck lid is something that was thrown on there. It's very ill-fitting. It's almost it's about 5/8 of an inch too narrow, and about 1/4 of an inch too short on each end. But so it looks like I'm going to be building a hatch lid, and I definitely am going to be building a box. So just figured I'd give you a quick rundown real quick. Trying to get this damn dinghy done. This is today's little quick project. I say quick, but you know, nothing is quick here. This has got to go on the transom of the boat. Unfortunately, it's got to fit in like this. Oh, let me show you. So it's got to fit in something like that. But, you know, these legs are pivoting legs, so they have to come flat back to the bracket. Guess what? 1 inch overhang. So we're going to have to build out, I've got some teak, and I'll build out a plate to bring that up to the surface here. Over here, I got the transom ID plate that I'm going to have to drill the rivets out of, take off, and move over so that we're legal. We've got that on the boat, but so that's got to be built out. So of course, that's not going to be easy. I had to go down and get longer bolts because I need an extra inch of bolt because of the extra inch of transom. Trying to get that started at least so that I've got to cut the wood back plates for that. Probably cut them out of this piece of stock here, which is 1 inch thick teak. It's like a project panel. Make a good backer for that, and nobody's going to see it, and I'm not having to waste a piece of oak on that. Of course, I suppose I've got some over here I probably could use. Maybe. Let's see. Nope, that's not going to work. We've got the EVA foam that's going in the bottom of the dinghy in. I've laid it out on the bench and staked it down here with some boards to kind of flatten it out, make it a little bit easier to work with. Started installing the bow locker the other day. That's in, and the hatch is in and installed. You'll see that around the edges there's a gap, and that partially is to accommodate the chaps we're going to put on. We'll tuck those behind there, and partially that is, and more importantly, that is to accommodate water. So when water flows over, that box is designed for the water to run down around the outside edges of it, get into the gutter tracks on the bottom of the boat. As you can see, there's kind of a lip over there that acts as a gutter, and then there's a gap built in down below the box so that water can run out. Now when I put that foam in, that will kind of block that little area, but what I'm going to do is hold the foam back a little bit and give it a channel to go through. I may end up splitting the foam down the middle and creating a gutter that runs back to the transom, similar to what it was originally. If you guys remember, there were opposing gray pads, and right in the middle there was kind of a gutter track, so I'll have to figure that out when I get there. But had all kinds of problems getting these things installed because I'm using, if you can see down in there, I'm using these stainless steel L brackets to fasten the thing to the boat. I could have glassed them in, but honestly, I wanted them removable in case I ever needed to do repairs inside the boat. So the problem with that is that this boat's got a double hull, but it's selectively doubled. So as I found out on the bow, when I drilled through the hull of the boat all the way to the outside, I pulled the drill bit out and looked out and could see daylight through the hull. I was like, well, shit. So yeah, it's selectively double hulled, but and the double hull on this AB, the inner hull has separated. Anyway, so it's selectively doubled, and it turns out it's not really so much of a core as it is the other hull. So I've drilled multiple holes in the bottom of the boat, which has been fun and a learning experience, and now I know better. So I'm having to go back and modify a little bit the way that I'm putting it in. I'm actually creating fiberglass pads to bed these angle brackets into, but that's, you know, again, just it is what it is. So anyhow, doing that, trying to get that done so I can get this bottom cleaned up, get the foam installed, and then we've of course got these patch areas. I got to put there were screw eyes or U-shaped shackles back here that were way too close to the block, so to clean up the sealant there too. Finished putting the hardware on for the wheels. So I'm going to leave that patch like that, because once the foam's in and everything else is effectively done on the boat, with the exception of the chaps and that transom, Gina will come back in, because she's the finisher. We'll come back in and sand those out, and is going to paint that transom with some topside paint, and then that will be the end of that. She's also going to paint, put some bilge paint. I'm going to put sealant down in there and create escapements for the water, but she's going to paint the inside area of that with bilge paint, and the inside area of this with bilge paint, just so that everything is as protected as we can make it. So anyway, that's what's on the block today. I got to get that damn thing done, because as you can see, this dinghy takes up a crap ton of my workable area, and it blocks my frickin' lumber rack, which has been a real pain in the ass.